I gave High Speed Étoile an astonishing 3 out of 10. I can't say I'm big into either sports or slice of life shows. I've watched a few of each, but they're not really my forte. I did grow up watching Formula One though, and I can say with absolute certainty that High Speed Étoile does not understand the appeal of either motor racing or slice of life. It's a show that attempts to take the uncomfortably extravagant world of motor racing and sell it as an ordinary and relatable thing, with a bland cast of one-note characters where anyone can win if they try hard enough. In case that wasn't bad enough, it then doubles down on that by adding AI as a way that people can push themselves ahead. I don't even particularly want to talk about the shoddy CGI here because I think attitudes towards CG anime are bad enough as it is, but this is painfully cheap at times. It's abundantly clear that this is low budget, low effort, and a low result. It's a bad sign when I'm comparing a show to X-Arm, but that was the comparison I made for multiple reasons after 2 episodes, and I've stood by that one to the end. As usual, there are likely to be some spoilers ahead. Probably more than usual, honestly, because it's easier for me to ramble about bad shows than it is good ones. High Speed Étoile revolves around Rin Rindo, a girl picked out via her skills in an online racing game to be the new driver for the next race, the in-universe F1 equivalent, which is just F1 but with a boost mechanic. Next race has been dominated by drivers nicknamed the King and the Queen, and new blood has been brought in specifically to stop people from losing interest. Someone has to beat those frontrunners in order to save the sport. That's completely forgotten almost immediately, as the show goes into episodes to introduce the cast members one by one, before having various racers win with their own unique styles, which almost feels like it defeats the point of the show. Those cast introductions are pretty bad too. Every character is essentially a stereotype with one interest. Lorenzo, the king, is always composed and he collects toys. Sophia cares about luck and superstition and she takes pride in her appearance. The show doesn't help itself in a single way here. It takes some pretty interesting character designs and then spends half its time showing close-ups during races that barely utilize those designs. And the race commentary almost feels like it's designed to be as dull and monotonous as possible. If you've watched even a single real-life race in anything, it's painfully clear how bad the commentary here is. I really hoped it would improve after the first episode, but it might as well be the exact same recording the entire way through. I mentioned the character designs, and it is genuinely disappointing to see how poorly they're used in this show. The Queen in particular has a really distinct style that feels almost wasted here, and each episode's end card art is incredible. Assuming this was the starting line for High Speed Étoile, it's a disaster that the show ended the way it did. Unfortunately, none of that beauty translates into the show's art and animation. As I said earlier, I'm typically not as strongly against CG animation as most people are, but the issue here is that it feels lazily animated. Characters move awkwardly or not at all during conversations, and there are transitional scenes that wouldn't look out of place in the background of a PS2 game. Just absolutely baffling to me that this show ended up being this bad. Every so often there's a moment of promise with a funny spot, an almost interesting character quirk, or just the style the show has, and every time it is broken apart in seconds by repetitive comedy, frustrating pacing, and just an absolute lack of care in making something worth watching. The studio's fairly small, so I want to be generous here, but it is really tough for me to justify almost anything in this one. If you like this video and want to read more of my reviews ahead of the video releases, or if you'd like to support me in making these, check out the links in the description, and I hope to see you here again for the next one.